We're only a little over halfway through 2025, and we've already been hit with a wave of great action movies. There were huge budget blockbusters, thrilling war movies, and plenty of brutal, no-holds-barred action flicks that are sure to get your heart racing. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Matthew, and this is CineGold. Let's check out number 10.
Take it.
Take it. Aye.
Point it at my chest. Do it now. Put your finger on the trigger.
Our first movie is an exciting spy action thriller called The Amateur. It's about a CIA cryptographer whose wife is killed in a terrorist attack, forcing him to take justice into his own hands. The Amateur is based on a 1981 novel and actually had a film made that same year. This modern adaptation is definitely the better of the two, and it has a realistic, more grounded type of action that makes it feel similar to the Bourne movies. It's a solid revenge thriller with quick, highly enjoyable bursts of action that make it one of the many standout action films of 2025. Next up is a brand new movie from the director of The Raid, Gareth Evans. This is Havoc, a grimy action thriller starring Tom Hardy as a one-man wrecking ball. A lot of people said they were disappointed with Havoc, and I guess they were expecting something on the same level as The Raid. I'll admit it's not on that level, but I really enjoyed it. Havoc's got a very gritty atmosphere, and the city it takes place in feels a lot like Batman's Gotham. The fight scenes are badass and bloody like you'd expect, and yeah, it could have been better if they didn't use CGI for the blood and the car chases, but I still had a blast watching it. Havoc is tense and atmospheric, full of great actors, and I think definitely worth watching for fans of action movies. Then if you're a fan of 2022's Bullet Train, there was a movie with a very similar plot and tone that released this year. This is Fight or Flight, an action comedy about a mercenary whose job is to protect a hacker on a plane full of assassins trying to kill her. Sounds familiar, right? Fight or Flight is a pretty fun action movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. Josh Hartnett is great as always, and this movie is surprisingly full of action with fight scenes coming one after another. It gets pretty brutal too with an R rating, which is nice to see, a movie that doesn't hold back. I should point out that it's not quite as good as Bullet Train, but if you enjoyed that movie and want something similar, definitely take a look at Fight or Flight. At number 7 is one of the weirder action movies to drop in 2025, which is both a good and bad thing. This Apple TV Plus movie is called The Gorge, and it's about two elite snipers who are posted to guard a highly classified and mysterious gorge. The Gorge, like I said, is kind of an odd action movie. The concept seems really fun, and it starts out that way, but it mixes in a very out-of-place romance subplot that just felt goofy, but it definitely has its moments, hence the spot on this list. The whole sci-fi mystery element is a lot of fun, and the action does get pretty good in the third act. If you're sick of the same old thing and are looking for something unique in the action genre, you can definitely find that in The Gorge. Next up is an action movie about a man who could feel no pain.
Heads up! Oh, sorry. It's fine.
This is called Novocaine, and it's about a man whose girlfriend is kidnapped, and he uses his condition in which he can't feel physical pain into a superpower in order to rescue her. Novocaine is another action comedy that's got an R rating with lots of blood and brutality. It stars a solid Jack Quaid in a movie that never really slows down, with plenty of broken bones and gunfights. It's a pretty fun action movie. Let's move on to number 5.
She didn't kill all those people.
How do you know that? No.
I actually didn't say anything.
The First Accountant movie I thought was one of the more underrated action movies to come out in the 2000s. I was very happy to see The Accountant 2 finally dropping 9 years after the original. The sequel ramps up the precision-driven action that's not flashy, but measured and brutal. Part 2 also gives us more of the John Bernthal-Ben Affleck dynamic, and they do a great job of playing off each other. If you've been sleeping on The Accountant, you definitely need to check that one out first, but if you're a big fan of the original like me, The Accountant 2 is definitely a must-see. Next up is the latest entry in one of the all-time great action franchises. This is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which is supposed to be the last film in the franchise. I still don't believe it will be the last Mission Impossible. It's just too big a franchise. The Final Reckoning is honestly not quite as good as some of the other installments, especially not Ghost Protocol or Fallout, but it's still Mission Impossible. It's still one of the biggest and most expensive action franchises out there. This one had a $300 to $400 million budget. It's still got got some insane stunts done by Tom Cruise that are just incredible. Mission Impossible will always be synonymous with the action genre, and The Final Reckoning is no exception. Speaking of big franchises, John Wick fans got a long-awaited spin-off movie, and it did not disappoint. It's called Ballerina, and it follows an assassin who sets out to seek revenge on the people who murdered her father. Ballerina takes place after the third John Wick movie, Parabellum, and does a great job of expanding on the Wick universe. It's full of the incredible action we've come to expect from the franchise, and proves once again that there are few action films on the same level. With the brutal gun fu, beautiful long takes, and stylish neon-soaked violence, Ballerina proved it was more than up to the task of carrying the Wick legacy forward. The next movie was easily one of the fastest, most intense films of 2025.
Relapse is a lifetime.
This is F1 the Movie, a racing film from the director of Top Gun Maverick, Joseph Kosinski. The director of this film is important because Kosinski is known for making movies in a way that is rarely done anymore. He prefers realistic, practical action scenes blended with elite sound design to make for some incredibly intense scenes. In F1, the actors, including Brad Pitt, were driving modified F2 cars, and a lot of the scenes were shot during actual F1 races, making the movie feel way more realistic and exciting than if they had just CGI'd the whole thing. Racing is definitely a different type of action than the other movies on this list, but F1 has all the hallmarks of a great action film: blistering pace, heart-in-your-mouth tension, and life-or-death stakes. The number one movie on our list was so good, one of the most tense movies I've seen in a while.
Inbound! Inbound! Find cover! Downstairs!
This is Warfare, the true story of a U.S. Navy SEAL platoon that was ambushed during a covert mission in Iraq. Warfare is an extremely tense, sometimes terrifying film where the violence strikes suddenly like a lightning bolt out of nowhere. I've never been in a firefight, but this feels as realistic as any war film I've ever seen. The gunshots are deafening and hit you like a jump scare. It's far from a balls-to-the-wall action movie, but when the action hits, it's tense and brutally realistic like few others. Warfare is by far my favorite movie of 2025 so far, and I think it's a must-see for all action fans. And before we get out of here, I got a few quick bonus movies for you. The first is called Heads of State, and it's an Amazon Prime action comedy movie starring John Cena and Idris Elba. It's pretty lighthearted and fun if you're into that kind of thing. Then there's Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, the gritty sequel to the solid 2018 action crime thriller that stars Gerard Butler. It's a pretty fun heist movie. And finally, there's A Working Man, which is pretty much your standard Jason Statham violent action film. Definitely worth a watch for Statham fans. That is our list of the best action movies in 2025. Which are your favorites? What upcoming movies are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I will see you again soon.